What is going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB channel. And if you're wondering why I have this smile on my face, it's because I just got done watching for a second time Adam Peters' introductory press conference. And guys, this is the most refreshed I've felt in a long time. I kind of feel like Josh Harris was at the press conference. He was sitting back. I might recline my seat a little bit too, he had his feet up and he was you could just tell that things are different for Josh Harris. You could tell that they hired the right guy. Doug, it is an exciting day. Absolutely. It is a great time to be a Washington fan. And I'm just going to give my thoughts, and I want whoever comes in on the live, drop your comments, what you think about the press conference, any questions, anything like that. Let me know. But I'm going to share some quotes that he said, that Adam Peters said today during his press conference, even Josh Harris too. Give my thoughts and what I think about some things. But guys, I'll also be going live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time to go over some Senior Bowl players on the defensive side of the ball. As y'all know, I'll be in Mobile for the 5th year in a row, talking to these players, interviewing these players, watching practices, breaking down tape, stuff like that. But tonight I'm going to be going over my favorite defensive players for the Washington Commanders, something that Adam Peters is going to have to do this offseason. He talked about that, and I'll bring up the whole talent evaluating aspect of it, the roster building side of it. But also, guys, I opened up memberships this past week for the channel. A lot of people have already signed up. Go ahead and do that. Get some extra perks. I'll be doing a lot of exclusive videos this offseason, random giveaways every month. And then I'm giving away 2 jerseys at the draft this year. I'll be in Detroit, Michigan. Got a little house in Canada right across the border to stay at. And then I'll be going over to the draft every single date. I'll be giving away 2 jerseys while I'm at the draft. So every month you're signed up for the membership. That's one entry for every month. So if you sign up in January, you'll get an entry for January, February, March, and April for that giveaway for 2 of those jerseys at the draft. Don't miss out. Like I said, guys, this is going to be the best off-season content-wise for me, but then also as a fan, this is a great time to be alive. And we saw the video with Adam Peters arriving yesterday off the plane, and you could just tell Adam Peters, and we kept saying that he just has this aura to him. Doug H says he kept it pretty close to the vest, which is good. He did. Then you know how the media is, and I'm not even going to just say our media, because there's a lot of our media members that I like a lot. There's some that you could tell on X that I don't like as much, but we're not going to get into that. But you could tell, like, the media, asked some questions. They threw out that second pick. They asked some quarterback questions. They wanted to get something. You always want that clickbait thing. I'm not about the clickbait thing, honestly. That's not me. Like, I'm not like these streamers that go around just doing stupid stuff. I can't do that. That's just not me. I don't like clickbait stuff. People say it all the time that I do clickbait stuff on social media all the time. I don't think I do. I honestly just say what I think or something else that someone else says. But anyways, you could tell that, the media is going to try to bait him and trying to, and try to get some answers out of him. Like, hey, what do you think about the roster? What do you think about the quarterback situation? What do you think about the number 2 pick? And he just kept, like you said, just kept everything close in, wasn't saying too much. He knew exactly what to say, but he made just one heck of an impression. Marcus said, hey, Josh, I'm going to post your podcast on my Facebook group, Sports View 2. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to all the Washington fans coming through. We got some people live right now with us. Like I said, drop your comments and questions if you watched the press conference. If you didn't, as soon as we end here, go watch that press conference. But the thing that Josh Harris said the most about Adam Peters is that he's just a straight-up winner. Everywhere he goes, he wins. He was with the Patriots. He was with the Broncos. He was with the 49ers, obviously, building that culture that we hear about all the time. Like the 49ers have that winning culture that teams want, in their organization. That's something that we want. And Josh Harris was just glowing about how, like, this was the guy the whole time. And the thing that was refreshing for me, like, we knew that Adam Peters was the guy. This is the guy that everybody wanted. This is the guy I've been, dying for weeks now. And the thing that really hit me is how excited Adam Peters was to be here. Adam Peters was like, he even said it, not only just about the team, but he said this was the best opportunity in the entire NFL. And I told you, I remember going live on the Bleacher Report app. I remember doing this back at the trade deadline. I said, guys, have no fear. Josh Harris has a plan in place. This was a business decision. While we got rid of Montez Sweat, while we got rid of Chase Young, we've got these draft picks. We've got all this salary cap. Washington has the number one ranked. If you list the assets with capital space and then also draft capital in the offseason, Washington's number one by a lot. We're projected to have the number one salary cap right now. I think it's 85 or 86 mil. Spot Track keeps adjusting it a little bit, but we're number one by like 6 or 7 mil. Like, it's a good bit. But then draft capital, not only just that number 2 pick, but then having those 2 seconds to 2/3, and they're high second, high third round picks. So this is just this was a long process. And Josh Harris is smart. The more that I hear Josh Harris talk, and the more that I hear, the more of his process and how he goes about things, Josh Harris is really smart. That's refreshing too. We haven't had that. Someone that does things with a purpose, someone that has just this laid out blueprint of what he wants to do. I saw back at the trade deadline exactly what Josh Harris was doing. He was setting this up to be the place for someone like Adam Peters to come. Now, what am I saying, that Adam Peters was like the guy back in, the trade deadline? Maybe not. But he knew this time was going to come. And Adam Peters said this was the best opportunity in the entire NFL. But he also said this just about Washington in general, not only just opportunity, but he said, this is where I'm supposed to be. I can't tell you how I'm to be here. I'm pinching myself. This is one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL. He realizes the history. He talked about walking through the building, just seeing everything. Not only the people, but just the history of the franchise. Say what you want about the name change and all that stuff. But the history is still there. You can't erase that. That's not going anywhere. The Redskins history, the Super Bowl is just who we were. And this is another discussion we had on X the other day. Follow me at Josh Taylor FB if you haven't already. But people were talking about the list of just how bad we've been. And I said, guys, I was born in '93. I haven't seen a successful team. 2012 was the best year for a fan, for me as a fan. That's it. I don't have these Super Bowls that a lot of people do. I don't have these winning seasons that other people, those Joe Gibbs days, those Super Bowl winning days, the Doug Williams, the Art Monks, those days, the John Riggins. I don't have that. Yeah, I've gone back and watched it. Yeah, I've grown up and heard about it. I've been around it because of my family, growing up in Northern Virginia or Central Virginia. That's something I grew up with, but I just haven't had this. So it's just good to know that I feel like we're just headed in that new direction. And I think Adam Peters, Josh Harris, that all of it is just a complete wash of everything we have with Dan Snyder. Let's get to some comments here. Ink_ says, Josh, what scheme would you prefer defensively? Also, I'm looking forward to that physical play. When do you think that he will hire his front office members? So that's a good question. A couple things scheme wise, I honestly just keep what you got. Keep that 4-3, because a lot of teams don't run a base defense much anymore anyways. You're running a lot of sub packages. You're running a lot of dime, big nickel, big nickel. They're going to do some 5-2. Washington does a good bit. Will they change things up? Yeah, there's going to be some changes. Obviously, this defense was the worst in the NFL last season. There's going to be some changes. But can we see a drastic scheme change? I don't think so. Really just depends on who they bring in as a defensive coordinator, which is the next thing. The next big thing. And so he's technically GM, and I want to say something about that too. The reason they did that is because if things go well, he has a 5-year contract. So if things go well the next few years and they want to promote him to keep him around, which it doesn't sound like he's going to go anywhere. It doesn't. But if they wanted to, they could always promote him to head of football ops, president of football ops, whatever you want to call him, and then also hire a GM if that's the route that they wanted to go. So once again, super smart by Josh Harris, not just naming him head of football ops right away, but giving him an opportunity to where he can get moved up even more if that opportunity presents itself, if things are going well, or maybe, he's getting some other opportunities somewhere else. This is years down the road though. But still, I don't know if he's going to hire assistant GM. I think he will. I think it's just a matter of time. I think I don't want to say the more important thing, but the next thing for him is finding the head coach, because that's going to happen quick. We have teams getting eliminated right now. You hear about these interviews that are going on. It's a lot of virtual interviews right now. I think you have to wait 3 days until the teams, whoever it is in the team loses their game. So say if the Lions lose on Saturday, Sunday, whatever day they're playing, I haven't looked at the schedule yet. You have to wait 3 days after that to talk to whoever it is. So this process is going to be going pretty quickly. We've already talked to some people. We have some interviews lined up at the end of this week. I think Raheem Morris is the end of this week, defensive coordinator for the Rams. So that's the next thing. And he talked about that head coach a lot. Shout out to Brian, by the way. Keeping me going today. I'll talk about that as well. Just what he was talking about with the head coach, what he's looking for. But yeah, I the thing that he said about you're going to see a difference on the field. You're going to see a physical play. You're going to see, and he didn't say a more motivated team, but in my opinion, I've been saying this team just looks checked out when they're on the field. These players have no belief in what they're doing. The main thing he said over and over and over today was this team and this organization needs leadership. And I don't want to hit Ron Rivera with any stray bullets on the way out, but I've been told over and over and over again, oh, Ron's a great leader. I didn't see it. And according to Adam Peters, this team hasn't had good leadership in a long time. And I agree with him. Once again, like, it's not even just a shot at Ron because of everything he had to go through. It's a shot at, it's just, we have, we got rid of Snyder. All that's been done. But we have still just been looking for, and you can't expect Josh Harris to be like the leader as the owner of the team because we need someone like Adam Peters who is going to be more plugged into the football operations of this team, more so the on the field culture. Josh Harris, he's more so the outside stuff. He's more of the big picture stuff. He's, the stadium, all that stuff. But I'm talking about the on the field product. And that is what Adam Peters is going to be the leader of. That and whoever the head coach is going to be. But we haven't had that in so long. And you can just tell the players are checked out. The players are checked out all season. After like week 4, week 5, after that Bears game, everybody checked out. I promise you. Everyone was checked out. What's going on, Merle? Good to see you. Adam Peters nailed that press conference. That was the most impressive press conference I've ever seen. Absolutely love it. Pat says it is a new day. Absolutely. Let's get to some more Josh Harris quotes. The most exciting one, and I put this on the thumbnail that I'm going to post. He said, "I'm all in." And I firmly, you could just tell, like I said, he was so motivated. He was so pumped about this opportunity. He wasn't chill about it. You could just tell Adam Peters is ready. He saw this opportunity and the confidence that he has and the draft picks we have, in the salary cap, and the location, in the fan base, just what this opportunity was, and just coming to Washington and saying, like, guys, this is a big thing. You can't mess this up. You know how passionate this fan base is. You know how hungry this fan base is. One bad thing, and you see what this fan base does. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be a mascot. It could be the name. It could be the quarterback. It could be anything. This fan base is ready to pop off any second. We're passionate. I love this fan base. Do I agree with y'all all the time? No. Y'all agree with me all the time? Heck no. And but this fan base is passionate. David, why are you going to go there, man? David said, breaking news, the Commanders hired Adam Gase as their new head coach. I don't even know what Adam Gase is doing these days. But I just remember Adam Gase on the sidelines just got them smelling salts with him at all times, ready to go, looking like Baker Mayfield last night. But Adam Peters said, just going through the process, it was very clear to me at the very early time, this is exactly where I wanted to be. He wanted this opportunity. He turned down the Chargers, all these GM openings this offseason, a lot of great organizations. Some teams that, have a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. Some opportunities that might have been a little safer. I'll say safer than coming here. But it's just that he was so willing to take on this project. That's what excites me. This guy saw this and he said, "Oh, I want that job. I want to be able to come in there and just totally turn this place around." This is one thing that stood out to me and a lot of people talking about right now. He was asked about the roster. And he said, "I believe that there are a few cornerstone pieces on this roster." There's like 2 or 3. He didn't say that. "I believe there's a lot of work to do. That's an ongoing process. I've started a little bit, but we have a lot of work to do." Absolutely, he has a lot of work to do. And he saw that roster in person many times now. And he saw it this season. I guarantee you, he looked at that roster and he said, "Guys, that's where that we have a lot of work to do came in." He saw it firsthand. But he said there are a few cornerstones, and I appreciate that. And, I'll talk about some. I have a video coming up here on Bleacher Report this week. I want to say it's the 18th. Talk about trade ideas this offseason. A lot of people have been throwing some names around for trades. I'll just talk about that, give my thoughts. But I think we do have some cornerstones. Obviously, Terry. I think Deron Payne. I think John Allen's a cornerstone. People, want to go against those guys all the time, but it's fine. But I think those three guys are the only cornerstones on this team. I don't see any. Actually, I lied. Sam Cosmi is a cornerstone on this team. Dude is a top 5 guard in the NFL right now, left and right combined. He's a top 5, top 6 guard in the NFL right now. Sam Cosmi is a blue chip guy you build around. So yeah, we have 4. I think we have 4 cornerstones on this team right now. He was also asked about the number 2 overall pick, which is going to be a hot topic, and we have a long time to talk about it. He said, it is a great opportunity, but we still have to hire a head coach, and we're going to do that full process collaboratively. That's another thing that Josh talked about, being on the same page, having the same vision. He said, we need to share the same vision. Like, everyone has to be together on this. Through everything. Depth guys, starting quarterback, number 2 overall pick, free agency signings, whatever, roster building, coaching, whatever. Everyone's got to be on the same page. And you can just tell Adam Peters wants to do things the right way. He's bringing over what he did with the 49ers and bringing that over here. Marcus said GM Adam Peters and head coach Bobby Slowick, the perfect combination for the next 6 years. Honestly, like my 3, number 1's Ben Johnson, number 2 is Mike McDonald, and number 3 is Bobby Slowick. I'm fine with any of those. And I'll read some quotes coming up when he talked about head coach. He said about the new head coach, he said, we want the best leader for this team. It's not going to be in the box of offense or defense. It's going to be the best leader for this organization. And that's not saying, oh God, Bill Belichick's coming here. He's not. That's already been shut down. He's not coming. Jim Harbaugh? Maybe. I don't think so. I think he's going to go to the Chargers. That was the very first interview we even talked about. Bob Myers reached out to Jim Harbaugh's agent like that day, within the hour of being announced that Bob Myers is going to be brought on. Jim Harbaugh's news came out. So that's not saying, oh, it's not going to be Ben Johnson. Oh, it's not going to be Mike McDonald, or it's not going to be Bobby Slowick. That's not what he's saying. He's saying is some people are like, or even a Mike Vrabel. Like, a lot of people shooting down the idea of Mike Vrabel. And, I've been heard that Mike Vrabel's been linked to Washington, not like a big time target. I just think a lot of people talk. One thing I've come to realize going to these events and talking to people and building relationships with people, a lot of people talk. And you have guys like Jeremy Fowler, Albert Breer, even guys in the local media saying Ben Johnson is the top target for Washington. Then you've got Vegas odds. That doesn't just happen for no reason. I genuinely think Ben Johnson is the next head coach. And it's not because he's offensive minded thing. I think it's because they're going to talk to him, and then they're going to find out that he's a great leader of men. Just seeing the on the sideline, things behind the scenes stuff with Ben Johnson. People love Ben Johnson. And this is a guy I got to watch coach at the Senior Bowl 2 years ago. And, there's some videos that's popped up when he's talking to Sam Howell and talking to some other quarterbacks there. He's a former quarterback, played at North Carolina. In my opinion, I don't care if it's an offensive minded or defensive minded guy. And people say, well, it wasn't Ron Rivera, like a leader of men. Maybe at some point, but the last 2 years, no. And one thing that Josh talked about being the most important thing for the head coaching position was a high football IQ. And that's something we've been missing for a long time. Whether it's situational football, time management, the business decision side of the football ops, roster building, all of that's been missing for the last few years. Salary cap management, the drafts have been bad. Like I said, just the product on the field, the IQ has not been there. The IQ has not been high. I hate to say it. But he also said that this is not a total rebuild. There are a ton of wonderful people here that just need leadership. Like, once again, he's hitting home on that this team just needs leadership. Let's see. He says out of what to expect out of this team. And he even said, even if the results aren't there right away, be patient, guys. He said, you'll see great competitors. You'll see a physical team. You'll be really impressed with what you see on the field. Said even if the wins or losses isn't what everyone wants right away, people will see a change taking place. And I think that's where it starts, is getting those group of guys in the field. I'm not saying everyone on the team sucks, because I don't think they do. Obviously, you're not going to just revamp the entire team, but I think leadership and just a new direction for those guys in the field could go a long way. I think you start there. Like, yes, you can evaluate the talent without saying like, oh, the defense is worse than the league. Like, everyone on the defense has to go. Like, no, I think Cam Curl's good. I think John Allen's good. I think Dron Payne's good. I think Kendall Fuller's way better than people give him credit for. Do I have some question marks about some other guys? Absolutely. But I think this new leadership could go a long way for a lot of those guys. Give them something to believe in. Give them something to play for again, because they haven't had that in a long time. Like I said, they've been checked out. One of the main things that stuck out to me too is he said, ultimately we'll build through the draft and supplement through free agency. That's kind of a juicy one-liner there. He said, once again, ultimately we will build through the draft and supplement through free agency. That gets me excited because I'm a draft junkie. I'm a free agent junkie too. And like I said, we've got the number one salary cap for the offseason. I think Tennessee Titans are number 2. We have like the second best, like the weight of draft picks. I think we're number 2. I think the Bears are 1. Yeah, they've got to be. They've got 2 top 10 picks. Then the Cardinals are like 3. So, I mean, he's got his hands full, but he's got a process he's going to go through. This is exciting times, guys. Like I said, this is a big time off season. Brent said it's going to be a great draft. Can't wait, and I'm so excited to be there. Like I said, it starts for me. I'm watching film right now. I'm in the scouting academy right now, learning how to evaluate positions, learning from guys like Louis Riddick, learning from GMs in the NFL, learning from former scouts in the NFL. This is where it starts for me. I've been evaluating these guys for the last few months now. Obviously, you don't just start when the season ends. But if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And like I said, become a member if you haven't already. Just opened it up this past week. Already got a bunch of people brought on. And like I said, I'll be doing a lot of exclusive videos for members only, but then also like early releases. Members get the first viewing on these videos, whether I'm talking about free agent prospects that I really like, breaking down their film, why I think they're going to fit with whoever we get for the new coaches, draft prospects. Like I said, I'm going to be at the Senior Bowl doing interviews, getting good videos of players, talking to them, but also during practices, during the game. You never know. Like I said, you run into people all the time. You never know. Like literally last year, I was sitting in my little spot, looked to my right, and Nick Sirianni was right there watching practice. Like, you just have no idea who you're about to run into. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that and then become a member. Like I said, I'll be doing giveaways every single month, but then I'm also giving away 2 jerseys at the draft. Greg says, yo, man, you're a Penn State guy. Why is Chop Robinson's stock dropping? Can we get him in the second round? I have no idea why Chop Robinson's stock is dropping like it is. I'll say this. Like, I know PFF updates the rankings and stuff all the time. His stock might have went down a little bit. But Chop Robinson's closer to the best edge rusher in the draft than he is like the third. Latu is obviously really polished. We have some medical questions people might be concerned about. But Chop Robinson has the best get off, really good hands, just great movement. I mean, a bend like no other. I love Chop Robinson. Obviously a DMV guy. I forgot where he played, somewhere in Maryland in high school. I can't remember. But could he go to second round? I think he could, because one, we have a high second. But the corner draft is good. The offensive line class is good. Quarterback class is going to be good. You're probably going to see 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the first round. Wide receiver class is ridiculous. So maybe, yep, you said Quincy Orchard. Appreciate it. I knew it was somewhere in Maryland, because he went to Maryland and then he was supposed to go to Penn State, went to Maryland, and then he finally transferred to Penn State and his career changed, of course. But he might be there in the second. But a guy I'm going to talk about tonight is a guy opposite of Chop Robinson, Adisa Isaac. I love Adisa. Covered Penn State the last 2 years. Not this past year was I like at the games and stuff like that, but the year before that, got to talk to Chop Robinson a lot, get to know him. Really smart dude, really cool dude, like him a lot. Like I said, Adisa Isaac is a guy that's going to be at the draft. There's a couple edge rushers I'm going to talk about tonight. So if y'all are on the live stream, come back tonight at 7. I got some film breakdowns and stuff like that. There's like 3 or 4 guys I would love in Washington. I don't care who the defensive coordinator is. I don't care what scheme we run next year. There's some like can't miss guys in this draft, especially on defense. I'm super excited about. Brent says, I'm not a fan of free agency. It's usually players that have been hurt or want too much money. So I'm a draft guy also. I'll say this. Free agency done the right way, though, just hits different. When you've got guys like Snead, Antoine Winfield, Dotson is a good guard for the Rams. Don't know what's going to happen with Connor Williams because he was hurt. Miami's probably going to throw him the bag. Mike Evans, T. Higgins, like you have no idea. That's what's so intriguing about Adam Peters being the new guy is you don't know how he's going to spend the money. You don't know what he's going to really put around. Like I said, he's going to supplement through free agency. So I'm really interested to see what that looks like. But players are going to want to come here now. I'm telling you guys, it makes a big difference when you have someone leading the way like that. I'm going to the 49ers. I'm looking what free agents they have this offseason. Seeing who he's going to bring over on offense and defense. Like, I'm looking at that. But players are going to want to come here. When you have the right coaching staff, in place, and you have the right GM that's going to be willing to say, like, guys, I'm willing to do what it takes to win, the people are going to want to be a part of this. The Eagles are going to be going through a revamp. You saw how that looked last night. Kelsey retired. They got a lot of free agents. They're pretty bad cap casualties. The Cowboys are in a worse situation. Their salary cap is like 3rd worst in the entire league. It's bad. They have a lot of free agents too. Smith might be gone. Shoot, get him on the line. That's fine with me. I'm just saying, guys, I don't want to be too optimistic because this is still early in the process. That's something that Peter said today. We're still early. But I'm just saying, guys, this is a perfect timing. Eagles are down bad. Cowboys are down bad. Giants going to giant. And Adam Peters going to be leading the way. Drake May is another. Trevor Lawrence a busted. Heck no, Drake May is going to be a beast. What do you think they might do with Eric Bieniemy? That's a great question. Not one team has requested to interview Eric Bieniemy. We kept hearing, the Bears have interest in him as head coach. They didn't even bring him in for offensive coordinator. They didn't even put in an interview for that. So I think what's next is they're going to find the head coach. And they're going to ask Ben Johnson, like, what do you want to run? Or whoever, Mike McDonald, whoever. They're going to ask the new head coach, like, what are you looking for on offense? Like, who do you have in mind? Is there someone from your team that you want to bring over? Passing game coordinator, quarterback coach. Is there someone that you want to bring over from your team? But I'm just saying, Eric Bieniemy did not get one interview request so far this offseason. Washington's been eliminated for a long time. Like, the season's been over. So they could have requested that a while back. Now, one team has put in that interview. Now, there's still some teams out there that might. But I'm just saying, guys, I don't think we keep Eric Bieniemy. EB can go back to Kansas City. I mean, he might shoot. It just seems like that's a good fitting. Ink says, I'm nervous about this quarterback situation. SMH, I have a feeling they'll miss. That's the PTSD in us. And like I said, I'm 30. So like the highlights from a quarterback standpoint for me were the good of Kirk Cousins, not the bad. The good of RG3. And that's it. Everything else, it's been just empty hope. So I feel you. Like, I'm terrified too. And that's why, like, I trust Adam Peters. That's why I feel so good about Adam Peters. If he wants to trade up, trade a second, a third, maybe a third next year too, to trade up to 1 and get Caleb Williams. If that's what he wants to do, I'm fine with it. I'm going to sit back and watch. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be excited about it. Absolutely, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to hype the heck out of Caleb Williams. Or if we, sit right where we are and we get Drake May at 2, I'm going to be excited about that. I'm going to hype the heck out of him too. I like Drake May. I like Caleb. I like Drake May. I like the athleticism of Jayden Daniels, but I'll do some breakdown videos on what Jayden Daniels is going to struggle with in the NFL. Something that he struggled with a lot. Else, you don't know. Oh my God, he won the Heisman though. What did he struggle with? It's different. Dex 1K says we definitely have the brightest future. Absolutely. Like I said, especially in the NFC East, this is wide open. There's going to be a lot of changes. The Eagles didn't just lose. They lost bad. I don't even know if they win that game with A.J. Brown. I don't know if it would have made a difference. The Eagles' offensive line, which is the best in the NFL, had nothing for the Bucs pass rush, which I love that defensive line, by the way. Not only just Vita Vea, my guy Yaya Diaby, what's his name? Kalijah Cansey. Everyone said, oh, he's going to be too small. Heck no, that dude's a baller. That Bucs defense is so much fun. And they got some like late round guys on there. Zion McCollum in the secondary. I'm telling you, my boy Winfield Jr. be back there balling too. Antoine Randall L will be our OC. Where's he at? He's a wide receiver coach. What's it, the Rams now? I can't remember where he's at, but I think he's a wide receiver coach somewhere. What's going on, Mikey? We're feeling good, man. This has been the highlight as a fan. I mean, obviously the team being sold is number one. That's never going to beat that. But this is right there. This is 1B. The team being sold is 1A. This is 1B. And I kept saying, everyone's like, oh, Washington's going to be the same Washington forever, and blah, 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 blah. There's a cursed franchise. There's real adults in the building now. There's a new owner who knows what he's doing, and now we have the best GM, in my opinion, the best GM in the NFL. I'm excited. He stepped off the plane knowing he had them draft picks on one side of the jacket, and he had the salary cap on the other side of the jacket. He's ready to spend. I think Caleb, man, I think Caleb's going to be their guy too. But it's up to the Bears. If the Bears want Caleb Williams, they're not going to trade, like straight up. So they're either going to take him, or they're going to if they're even entertaining trades, like that shows their hand. Yeah, they're going to listen. But at the same time, if you want Caleb, doesn't matter what that package is. If they want Caleb, they're going to take Caleb. If not, Washington's going to call him like, hey, what y'all thinking? What's the move? Are y'all trading Justin Fields? And I think the thing that's going to help with this, I think we'll know. I think there's a window where there's a lot of quarterback needy teams though. There's a window where they're going to want to trade Justin Fields if that's the move. If they're going to move on from Fields, there's that window in like the free agency and before the draft. They're not going to trade Justin Field on draft night to a team. I don't see, that's so reckless from an organizational standpoint. They're not, Poles is not going to be on the phone like, hey, y'all want Justin Fields? I know we're on the clock. Like, hey, Pittsburgh, y'all want Justin Fields? They're not going to do that. If they trade Justin Fields, it's going to be a month. I'm trying to think when that DJ Moore trade happened. I think it was like middle of March, maybe the end of March. It's going to be around then. They're not going to wait till a week before the draft and be like, hey, guys, y'all want Justin Fields? We're taking Caleb Williams, by the way. They're not going to do that. It's going to happen. So come draft night, we're going to know what's going on. If they're on the clock and they haven't moved Justin Fields yet, by the way, they're keeping Fields. So then Washington needs to get on that clock and say, hey, guys, y'all are obviously keeping Justin Fields. What do y'all want for that pick for Caleb? Or if they sit at 2 and take Drake May, that's on them. Rashad said, I'm going to trust Adam Peters picking the quarterback. Absolutely. I'll take any of the top 3 quarterbacks. I haven't watched the press conference. Hold up. Mikey, go to the website, go to the team's YouTube channel, watch that thing. It was good. What's going on, Rio? We're back, man. Press are hitting like the 80s crack. It is, man. This is what we need. It's that smell and salt Baker Mayfield had on the sideline last night when they came out to Meek Mill and then smacked the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Sent Sirianni back to Philadelphia, a dirty little rat. Absolutely smash that like button. Appreciate y'all coming by here. It's a good day, man. It is a good day. It's a refreshing day. So I'm doing my homework on May. Currently at first, I thought he was a regular, but definitely has the opportunity to be elite. I'm not sure what it is, but something about his skill set is alluring. And like I said, I'm going to do a big breakdown video on Drake May, but just a little preview. One, His best wide receiver didn't play the first, 5 or 6 games of the year because he was fighting with the NCAA. He didn't have Tez Walker. And even outside of Tez Walker, they did not have many weapons in North Carolina. They had a really good run game with Amari Hampton, who's a beast. They ran the ball a lot more than they have the years past because Hampton was running that rock. His offensive line sucks. The offensive line in North Carolina sucks every year, by the way. Every year. They also went from Phil Longo to a new offensive coordinator, forgot his name, last year. It was still a pro style, but there's different language, there's different terminology, there's different, plays and stuff like that. So it was a new offense. He's also not turning 22 until preseason is almost over next year. So he's going to be 21 in training camp. His birthday is going to be like right before week 1 of the season next year. He's 21, guys. Super young. In my opinion, I think he is a Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert just played a long time at Oregon. Like, Justin Herbert came out polished. He came out ready. And that's fine. That's good on Justin Herbert. But I think the skill set, the size, the movement in the pocket, the underrated mobility, the arm angles, the mechanics. He has a couple things he has to work on. He's not a perfect prospect by any means. Honestly, the only guy, in my opinion, that's perfect in this whole draft is Marvin Harrison. And there's not many. Like, last year, I don't think there was a perfect prospect. There hasn't been a perfect prospect in a while. But I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is. Like, there's nothing bad in his game. But quarterback-wise, like, the perfect prospect was Andrew Luck. Trevor Lawrence was close. He was as close as it gets. But Andrew Luck is the only perfect quarterback prospect that I can remember, like, in my peak, like, football watching days. Like, no, 2012. It wasn't that long ago. But he was the perfect prospect. From the Elite 11 to college at Stanford to the NFL, never once wavered as had something he needed to work on. Andrew Luck was the perfect quarterback. And those don't just come around. Like, who will that be? Like, who will the next one be? No clue. There's some really good young guys coming up. But you're not going to just find that. Even Pat Mahomes he threw it a lot in college. The team wasn't good. He had a losing record 2 out of 3 years. I think his last year he finished like 5-7, something like that. It was really bad. But even he wasn't the perfect prospect coming out. Like, it has nothing and people just overthink the whole evaluating process, especially at the quarterback position, so bad. They don't use context. They don't look at the player for who he is. There's so many people that said, oh, Caleb sucks because his team's not in the playoffs, or Caleb's teammates hated him, or my boy Caleb is building Legos with his girl on a Saturday night in his penthouse in LA, and y'all talk about this dude's drama. I'm so sick of the Caleb hate, by the way, guys. I'm so sick of the Caleb hate. Now, if he was a bad kid and you were hearing all this off the field stuff, first off, he never once requested for part ownership of the team he was going to. That was a lie. No one said that. Him and his dad never said that. Like, Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have ownership, like a part ownership of the Chiefs. Why would someone ask for ownership of a team he doesn't even play for? So there's just so much Caleb hate. I don't get it. And I don't even care if we get him. Like, if he goes to the Bears, I pray to God Caleb just balls out and shuts some people up. Rio said, May with Ben Johnson's going to be mobile Phillip Rivers, and he's the pickless role. Dude, I completely see the Phillip Rivers. Like, he's going to let that thing go. Drake May, like, a lot of his plays were out of nothing. He was making something. They had a lot of drops this year. Tez Walker was really bad after the catch. There was a lot, like I said, there was a lot of drops. And they were a run-heavy team with Amari Hampton. He's one of the best running backs in next year's class. Dude was a beast. But I'm telling you, in big games, big moments, Drake May was that Clemson game. He's rolling out, did that little fadeaway, little flick with the wrist. Drake May, he's got talent. Is he going to be a little bit raw coming out? Yeah, he's 21. Shoot, when I was 21, that was 9 years ago. I could not imagine going to the NFL as a starting quarterback. So he's going to need some time. But I think a guy like Ben Johnson, a former quarterback, can coach him through it, put him in the right thing, build around his strengths right away. Put him in, build around those strengths right away. You're going to get a really good rookie season out of Drake May. I think we're trading back for picks and taking Daniels. I just don't see it. That's too conservative. And Jayden Daniels has his big question marks too. Like I said, I'll get more in depth on quarterbacks. What do I think of Mike Vrabel? I think Mike Vrabel's a really good guy. I think he's a really good coach. Adam Peters said, we're not in a box. of an offensive or defensive minded coach. We just want a leader of men. If you want a leader of men, Mike Vrabel's the guy. What game was it last year? I think it was Ben Jones, offensive lineman, got hurt. This is like one of my favorite videos. And Mike Vrabel is waiting in the tunnel. Ben Jones got hurt. I think it was Ben Jones. Got hurt a lot of times that season. He was hurt in that game, and he was like limping off the field, and they won that game. And I just remember Mike Vrabel was like crying, and he grabbed him. He's like, dude, I love you. He's like, I've never in my life seen anything like what you just did. He said, I've never in my life seen that. This is a guy that went through hell at the Patriots. Like, that was a good team. They had some dudes on that team. And he was like, I've never in my life seen what you just did coming like in that game. He's like, dude, I love you like you're one of my own. Like that to me, I was like, that's one of my favorite videos. Like, that's one you're like, damn, Vrabel's a dude, man. I love him as a coach. I think fan bases would hate, like the fans here were like, oh, it's a retread, but there's no reason Mike Vrabel should have even been fired, honestly. The Seahawks put in a request to interview Bobby Slowick. Good for them. Hope they suck for years to come. We're going to get ours, though. And I truly think that just like how Adam Peters said this was the best place to come for a GM, I think this is the best place to come for a head coach as well. Because you do have that new GM, you do have the new ownership, but then you have all these resources. But you have an opportunity here to get your guy, to get your quarterback, whoever it is, and we've been talking about it a little bit, to get your guy. But then, like I said, just the window of opportunity for Washington with what's going on in the NFC East. The NFC every year is a giant window of opportunity. If you want to be successful, the opportunity is there to make a run in the playoffs. Heck, we saw it that COVID year where we were playing the Bucks. Like, you just never know with the NFC. Trevor Lawrence is good in college, but terrible in the NFL. He's a bust. I don't think he's terrible. There's a lot to dive into with Trevor Lawrence. He's not terrible. They had a lot of bad drops. They had a lot of just close ones. Just a lot of games that they shouldn't have lost. Oh yeah, Burrow said for Antoine Randall. He's a Detroit wide receiver coach, which they look really good, by the way. Got Reynolds looking like Calvin Johnson. Like, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a beast. They got some really good depth guys over there as well. My guy Jameson Williams has a couple catches here and there. Not as good as I thought he was going to be. To me, looks like Big Ben with his pump fakes, but I want a leader as a quarterback with some swag as that may. He a dog or a pup. That's the thing about. But people say the same thing about Sam Howell. Like, always quiet. I want a loud guy. People need to make up their mind though, because I'll hear this is not towards you. There's people that are like, oh, I don't want Drake May because he's too quiet. But then they'll say, oh, Caleb's too much drama. What do you want? Like, I don't care whichever one. Like, I'm fine if he's quiet, if he's loud. Let him develop into a leader. Like I said, being 21, coming to the NFL, yeah, that's big. Asking him to take over a locker room in his first year, he's gonna have to go out there, show that he can ball, get the team behind him, just like Justin Fields. Like, the team is around Justin Fields this season. The Bears players want him. DJ Moore is banging on the table for Justin Fields to come back. He said it like 3 times now. So, I think he could be. Justin Fields wasn't like that loud or much of a talker either at Ohio State. This I can understand. The only problem I have with Caleb is the height. The skills are there. He's like what, right at 6'1", maybe, if that. Yeah, it is tough. You see it with Tua, Russ a little bit. He struggled from time to time with height. Drew Brees always had a height problem. Didn't make a difference. He balled out. But it could be. It definitely could be. And I can respect that. Like, if someone says that's the reason why I don't want him. Drake May will not make it in the NFL. I think he will, man. I'm telling you. I haven't seen video of Jayden really progressing through reads like Caleb or Drake. So that's the one thing. Like I said, I'll give you a quick preview with Jayden Daniels. One, he doesn't go through his progressions well. But 2, he had 2 first-round wide receivers, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., who were like wide open all the time. But I think he's really good. Like, he's got a great arm. I think he's a great athlete. His legs are the best in the class by a mile. Like, Jayden Daniels is going to, and he's not like Lamar, by the way. He's his own. Like, Jayden Daniels is a beast. But the thing that really concerns me is when Jayden gets out of the pocket. This is something that Hurts is dealing with right now. When Jayden Daniels got out of the pocket, he had the worst passing attempt percentage in all of FBS when he's moved off of a spot. What I mean by that, I'm not saying completion percentage. When he was moved off of his spot outside of the pocket, he only threw it 20% of the time. I think the lowest in the NFL is like 30%. The highest is like 70%. The league average is about 55%. He only threw it 20% of the time. So when he's getting out of that pocket, he's running. Once again, though, his legs are good. His legs are really good. But you can't do that but so much in the NFL before you're getting killed by guys like Fred Warner. He needs to be able to move out of that pocket when he's moved off of his spot. He's got to be able to reset his feet, go through, find something that what makes Patrick Mahomes so special, what makes Justin Herbert good. When they're moved off of their spot, they can reset their feet, get that base, go through again. But then it's different because you're not like, all right, let me restart, go through the play again. Because now you're doing off script. You got guys coming back towards you. You got guys trying to find the open zone, get off their man or whatever. Jayden Daniels struggled with that a lot. He was not willing to reset, set his feet, and throw the ball down the field when the play broke down. He was like, guys, I'm running. Like I said, it turned into a lot of good stuff. I just don't know how much you can do that in the NFL. Because like I said, he's big, he's tall, and I'm not worried about his frame. I'm just worried about how many times he's going to get hit. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is struggling with that right now. When Jalen Hurts is running out of that pocket, he's struggling getting the ball downfield. He's like, shoot, man. But he's willing to throw it. I'll say that. Jalen Hurts is willing to throw it, but it's not pretty. The last month or two has not been pretty for him. Merle says, I can't wait to see the Bears not draft. I can't see the Bears not drafting Caleb Williams. Poles wants his own quarterback. And that's the thing. It's not like they're just getting a random quarterback like Kenny Pickett or something. They're getting Caleb Williams, who was the number one pick last year, if you would have declared. And he's the number one pick again this year. I think people are just exhausted. Like, it's just he's been the number one pick for so long. People are like, is he really the number one pick? Yes, he is. And they're resetting the money market side of it too. They have a whole team to build around. They have to pay Jalen Johnson. They're saving a lot of money. But Poles has to just separate that emotional side and the business side of it, whether if they are going to stick with Fields or get Caleb Williams. I really hope they keep Justin Fields. San Francisco whiffed on that Lance pick, but they sustained it because they could pick talent. I'll fully trust their moves until proven otherwise. And that's the thing, too. I've had people say, Josh, why are you excited about Adam Peters? He's the one that traded up for Trey Lance. It was, 3 first-round picks, and I think like 2 seconds or something like that. I know it was 3 first. First off, we don't know who wanted that pick. You don't know if it was Lynch. You don't know if it was Peters. You don't know if it was Shanahan. You have no idea who wanted that pick. I'm going to say that first. Second, I love what you said. They sustained it because they could pick talent. They missed on Trey Lance and traded all that capital and did not miss a beat. They're a Super Bowl favorite for the NFC right now. Because they did hit on Brock Purdy, the very last pick of the draft. Some call it luck. I don't think it's luck. I think he's gotten a lot better since he's been in San Francisco, too. It's not the same quarterback we saw at Iowa State. I promise you that. He was there for like 6 years. Brock Purdy did not look like this. I promise you. But just how they were available to get Trey Lance. They made the moves. They were aggressive. They got a guy they were super high on. I didn't like Trey Lance personally. I did not like Trey Lance. I did not like that whole draft class, honestly, at all. Except for Justin Fields. Oversee that year. So I didn't like Zach Wilson. I didn't like Mac Wilson. Not Mac Wilson. Mac Jones. This is Mac Wilson. Mac Jones. And I didn't like Trey Lance. I didn't like the inexperience. I didn't like the upside of any of those guys. And I'm an Alabama fan. And I didn't like Mac Jones as a guy coming to the NFL. But they were like willing to take a chance on Trey Lance, and they did not skip a beat. It didn't reset them. It didn't set them back 3-4 years like a lot of people think that it will. Like if we pick the wrong quarterback, it's going to set us back years. No, it's not. Not if you do the things the right way. They have a loaded roster still. They're getting starters in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Some of their best players on the team are 5th-round picks. George Kittle, Dre Greenlaw, 5th-round picks. Those are franchise guys for them. Those are cornerstone players for them. Adam Peters is a great talent evaluator. I love that about him. Great talent evaluator. Let Adam cook. Absolutely. Someone make those shirts. Yeah, let him cook. Make the Let Adam Cook shirts ASAP. No James Harden, please. This wide receiver class has me wanting one in the second round bad. This wide receiver class is ridiculous. Could I see one in the second round? I could, because I don't think Curtis Samuel will be back. I think it's going to cost a little too much for Washington. I think he could demand a bigger, pay, whether it's the Chiefs or he goes back to the Panthers, somewhere that really needs a wide receiver, or someone even like the Texans or something like that. That could just use another, bigger name wide receiver. Curtis Samuel's super underrated, by the way. I think Curtis Samuel's really good. I'm not saying he's a wide receiver 1. I think he's a good wide receiver 2. I think he's super underrated, especially after the catch, third downs. Curtis Samuel's a guy. He produced a lot this year, and I don't think people really realize how good Curtis Samuel was last year. And then I think he was good this year too. But second round, give me Leggett, give me A.D. Mitchell, give me my guy Malachi Corley. I love Malachi. I plan on talking to him a lot this offseason, probably have him on the channel, do a little sit down with him, watch some film and stuff. There's a lot of wide receiver talent in this class. And I guarantee you Adam Peters is going to watch that Malachi Corley film and be like, that's the next Debo. And he really is. People say it every year. Oh, that's another Debo. Malachi Corley is he's a faster Debo. He's a little bit smaller than Debo. He's not as dense as Debo. But he plays just like him. Just like him. Appreciate it, Dave. Always good stuff. Always good time coming on here live when something like this happens with Adam Peters. Just A+. Like I said, guys, he absolutely crushed it today. The future is bright for us, y'all. And like I said, come back tonight. I'm gonna be doing the live stream on Senior Bowl players. Heck, you've got about 3 hours until I go live again. So I'll probably get off here in a second, get some stuff done. But let's see, talk about a couple other ones real quick. Why do you take Drake over Caleb? I don't take Drake over Caleb. So like I said, if my thing is, I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. But the thing is, 1, are you even able to get Caleb? 2, what's the price to get Caleb? Does it really hold you back at other spots? Maybe, but if you're getting your quarterback, it doesn't matter. But 3, what's the gap difference between Caleb and Drake? I don't think there's a big one. I think Drake May is the best pocket passing quarterback in the draft. And you could say, oh, Michael Penix, because he's played for like 6 years. He's more developed. But when you want to talk about upside and potential and longevity, Drake May is the best. Give him a year or 2, and I think Drake May is going to be Justin Herbert. That's my honest take. I'm not taking Drake over Caleb. I'm not taking Caleb over Drake. I think they're both winners. I think both of them could be franchise quarterbacks. But my thing is, I want Adam Peters to sit down, and I'm gonna start doing the quarterback talk and breakdowns and stuff more once we find out who the head coach is. Once we know who the offensive coordinator is. Heck, I'll even talk about Justin Fields because that possibility is there. They're going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about it too. But they're different quarterbacks for sure. And like I said, I'll get more into it once we figure out. Right now, I have no idea which way they're going to go. I don't know which way the Bears are going to go. But it really depends because you're running 2 different offenses with Caleb and Drake. Drake, he's already played a pro-style offense. He's ready to go. Caleb, he hasn't. That's something I tell people all the time. I go to the Senior Bowl. I talk to quarterbacks. I talk to their quarterback coaches. I'm not going to point out any names. But they're like, I've never taken a snap under center before. I'm like, are you serious? High school, college, never taken a snap under center before. And a lot of teams in the NFL, like it's getting less and less every year, but you still have to do it in the NFL. You have to do it still. And like they're at the Senior Bowl. Like, this is my first time ever taking a snap under center. It's completely different. Because you're under center, you're reading the defense, you're communicating, you take the snap, you turn your back, and then you turn back around. You're like, oh God, this guy's not blitzing anymore. He dropped back into coverage. That's safety. All right, I thought they were man out. They're in zone. This guy's going like everything just changed. So now you're resetting in your mind, and then you're going through your progressions. It's a whole different ballgame. It's like black and white. College offenses and NFL offense in a lot of places. Like I said, North Carolina, they run a pro style offense. They have for the last few years. Like I said, Phil Longo, and then the new offensive coordinator this year, they ran a pro style offense. But in a pro style offense doesn't just mean you're under center. That's not what a pro style offense means, by the way. But you're doing that more often in the NFL. You still have to go under center, guys. You're not in the backfield just reading, waiting, triple option, handing stuff off. This isn't 2012. Chip Kelly's not in the NFL anymore. You still have to run a pro style offense. So I think that's what Caleb's going to struggle with a little bit, because with Riley's system, he wanted to split the field in half. A lot of times, not all the time, but he wants to split the field. So if you just draw a line right down the middle of the field, he wants you to roll out to the left, reset. Now your play is just only half a field. You don't have to worry about what's going on that side of the field. You're just breaking down what's in front of you on that side of the field. Where you're, if they're in man, who's open? Who got separation in the break point? If they're in zone, which wide receivers sitting in the open zone? Where's your open throwing windows? First level, second level, third level. What are you doing? Can you run? Can you take off? You're not taking the snap under center, faking the handoff, turning around, resetting, looking at the entire field, sideline to sideline, and all the way back. You're not doing that. You're just splitting it in half. And people are like, oh, this is what Caleb did all the time. That's the offense they were running. That's Lincoln Riley's offense. He did it all the time. He did it with Baker. He did it with Jalen Hurts. He did it with Caleb. He did it with Jackson Dart when he was up there. Jackson Dart was a little bit more of a pocket passer before he went to Ole Miss when Jackson Dart was at USC. That's just what they did. Like, and that's just the college like street ball style offense that's always going to be there. The flashy, the exciting, the high octane, fast pace, West Coast, just spread, air raid offense. But the difference is in the NFL, Caleb's going to have to learn to take that, do a three step drop, 5-step drop, 6, 7, launch it. He's not going to roll out all these bootlegs as often. It's still going to be mixed in there. Lamar does it now. Jalen Hurts, like I said, does it a lot now. But you see, it's just you can't do it but so many times before defense says, all right, he's rolling out this way. Let's go. The field's cut in half, guys. Let's everybody get over to this side. And I think that's what you really saw Jalen Hurts struggle with over the last few games is the time where Brian Johnson's telling him, he has these rollouts, he has these boots, whatever you want to call it, where he's rolling out and it's just resetting and they couldn't open up anything. So it's going to be different for Caleb and Jayden Daniels too. But I think Drake May is just ready to go. And Drake May can roll out and he can make things happen. That's that upside. That's that little special sauce Drake May has when he's rolling outside. He's evading pressure. He's getting tackled while he's falling. He's throwing these beautiful dimes. I like Drake May a lot. But Caleb, he has that special sauce to him too. Appreciate the super chat. Bloodshot Sports says it feels like we're going in the right direction. We're going in the right direction. Absolutely. And, we knew big changes were going to happen once the sale of the team happened, but there's only so much that Josh Harris could have done before the season. And I hate to call this like a buffer of a season, but it really felt like that. Nobody expected Ron Rivera to be back here next year. Nobody did. We all knew Mayhew probably gone. Hurney probably gone. It was just a matter of time. So Josh Harris just really took this season to kind of sit back and just watch everything and just say, all right, I'm going to plan ahead. Watch things at the stadium, watch the game, watch the product on the field, off the field, really evaluated everything. And I'm telling y'all, Adam Peters being here is such a turn of page. We're reading a whole different book. It is completely different when in off-season past, heck, just last off-season, we saw those draft picks. And I mean, not even just me, y'all. I remember being live. I remember watching this draft with y'all and saying, we doing? We didn't get Gonzalez? Years past, we didn't get Darisol? Are you kidding me? Like, what is going on? There was no direction from this team. And free agency, Cody Barton, Andrew Wiley, that's y'all's big swings. Nick Gates, that's your answer at center. Nick Gates. Are you kidding me? William Jackson III. That's all I'm gonna say. That is what we were as a franchise. That is what our free agency looked like. And once again, it's not against the players. It's nothing personal against the players. Because people leave here and they play well. But we go after the wrong guys. The wrong guys. Free agency and the draft. Ron just throwing darts and praying to God one of them hits a bullseye. Praying to God. Sam Cosmi was a bullseye. He got one. By God, he got one. Cam Curl, that was a bullseye. 7th round. One of the top safeties in the league, even though we got in a fight on Twitter. It's all right. Ron got one, but by God, don't trust him to evaluate a quarterback. Don't trust him. It's not on Sam. Once again, I don't think Sam's a bad quarterback. But Ron didn't even know when to play him. Ron said we're going to swing on Russell Wilson, but we're going to settle for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Year 14, Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then he's going to complain about how every team in the NFL has their quarterback. Oh, we don't have a quarterback to build around. Well, by God, Ron, you didn't even at least swing for one. You swung for us, and then you said, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to last like 3 plays before he busts his hip. We're going to trade, and we're going to pay Carson Wentz and his 2 toothpick ankles. That's what we're going to win with. By God, man. I don't know about y'all, but it's refreshing knowing. Once again, it's nothing against Ron Rivera. It's just refreshing knowing that from a talent standpoint, we have people here that are going to evaluate the quarterback position. That's why I said, I don't care if they get Caleb, Drake May, Jayden Daniels, heck, Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. are going to be at the Senior Bowl. I'm going to talk to both of them. I'm going to watch them throw the ball. If they do trade back, if Adam Peters says we're going to trade back to 5, 6, 7, whatever, and we're going to take one of those guys, I'm going to say, okay, I trust your talent evaluating process because you got Brock Purdy at the last pick of the draft. Does he have his moments? Sure. But you know what fits what you want to do on this team. You know what scheme you want to run. You know that Brock Purdy did not look like that in college, but he was just a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan. I trust whatever you're going to do, Peters. That's what I have comfort. That's what's going to help me sleep tonight, knowing that Ron Rivera is not evaluating this team, and I don't think Mayhew will be here. That hasn't really come out yet. He's technically not GM anymore because Peters is here, so I don't know what the heck Mayhew technically is anymore. I don't think he'll be here. Maybe he'll be the assistant GM. I don't know. That hasn't come out yet. But I'm going to sleep good tonight knowing that Ron Rivera and Mayhew is not evaluating this team. And Adam Peters said it. There's a couple cornerstones, and I said it. Debatably 4 cornerstones on this team. And he said, this roster needs some work. Like I said, he saw it in person. He said, God, look what I built over here, and look what they've got, man. He probably felt bad for us that game. He probably said, I have to go to Washington. Those fans deserve more. And, man, I just feel good knowing that we got the right guy in here. Let's see. Dave said any direction other than Snyder's are the right direction. Last season was the best outcome for this franchise. Absolutely. Losing and getting the number 2 overall pick was the best thing. The only thing better was, winning no games and finishing the number 1 overall pick. The Panthers are just too bad. Couldn't even done that if we tried, though. And we have the Michael Scott from Scranton, Pennsylvania. What if he sticks with Howell? Will I be disappointed?
Yeah. But once again, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to say, you know what, Adam Peters, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to build this team around, I trust you. I guarantee you, I'm telling y'all, I got a lot of friends that do some really good work for the 49ers. The 49ers have the best content community in the entire NFL. A lot of good people. There's a lot of fans in that organization that were just hurt by Brock Purdy. They said this last pick of the draft is not the answer. Trey Lance is the future. Why are you not playing Trey Lance? Trey Lance has the upside. You need Trey Lance to ball out. There's no reason Purdy should not be playing, blah, 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 blah. Adam Peters knew what was better for that team. Shanahan knew what was better for that team. They took a big loss to Trey Lance. They said, you know what, guys? Took it on the chin, and they kept on going. Say they draft Drake May, Jayden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and one of them just sucks. They give them 2 years, 3 years. There's no improvement. There's no development. They're like, look, guys. And they get somebody late, or if they still got Hal. Hal's not going anywhere. You're not going to trade Hal, by the way. He's like free, pretty much. You draft him in the 5th round. He's not costing you anything. And they say, you know what? Hal, he's been sitting back. He's been developing for however long. Let's roll with him. And he turns good. Like, you just never know. The NFL is crazy. I don't have the script. Like I said, y'all, I'll be going live back here in a few hours, 7 o'clock Eastern time, talking about some players at the Senior Bowl. I'm going to be talking about, I only have 2 weeks. I leave on the 29th. Practice is on the 30th. Like I said, I will be at the Senior Bowl if this is your first time here. Every year, it's exciting. It's my favorite thing to go to. The draft is really high up there, but the Senior Bowl is honestly the favorite because that's the most like plugged into any event like ever for me. I'm talking like if there's a player I'm going to talk to, tell me. I will ask them anything. I will talk to them. I'll get interviews. I'll be asking questions like have you talked to Washington? What have you heard? Like I'll be asking some stuff. Like I said, doing videos, practices, and stuff like that. So come back here on 7 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be doing some live streaming on the Senior Bowl, doing some videos, some tapes, telling you all my favorite prospects to watch for. But I appreciate y'all stopping by. Everybody's excited about this Adam Peters hiring, and the press conference was just chef's kiss. Beautiful introduction to the organization. So I'll see y'all in a few hours back here on the channel. Be sure to stop by and chop it up, drop your questions, and watch some film with me. Peace.